CSN Bay Area is brought to you by Jack in the Box. It's back. The Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack. Taste it before it's gone at Jack in the Box. And by Toyota, the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America. Toyota, let's go places.
Petco Park on a warm, beautiful day here in Southern California as the Giants try to get out of town without being swept. Here's the game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is now open daily. 70 degrees with a slight breeze out of the south at 5 miles an hour. 82% is the humidity, which is a little odd for here. But the forecast is for clear for probably the next 7 or 8 months. Johnny Cueto has taken his warm-ups, making his way back in to the Giants dugout. Jake Peavy was out there with him as he took his warm-ups, and his warm-ups were a little different than we're normally used to seeing. Usually a guy goes out, warms up, and then when he's ready, he comes in. Well, he stopped throwing for a while and then started again.
Yeah, you do that like you would after you complete an inning. You sit down, you cool off, and then you go back out there. And the fact that Peavy is still out in the bullpen would lead you to believe that Bruce Bochy and Dave Righetti are going to keep a close eye on Johnny Cueto, so that if he were to exit early, then you've got Peavy ready to go.
So Peavy is out there. Looked like he was just on the phone, perhaps, to Bruce Bochy. As the Padres take the field, here's a look at the Giants batting order. It'll be Denard Span, center field. Angel Pagan, who had an excellent night last night, 3 hits, including a home run, left field. Brandon Belt still looking for his first hit since the All-Star break. First base, Buster Posey, who was the almost hero for the Giants last night with his 10th inning home run. He's the catcher. Brandon Crawford at shortstop. Gregor Blanco back in there, right field. Ramiro Pena, second base. He also had a big night with the bat last night, a home run and a double. Ruben Tejada at third base hitting 8th, and Johnny Cueto, the pitcher, batting 9th.
Edwin Jackson, who has been called up from the minor leagues to make the start, he is not a baby. He has been around a long time. You see his record this year in 8 games with the Marlins. He was sent down. He's made 5 minor league starts between Single A Jupiter and Triple A El Paso, and in those starts he went 0-2 with a high ERA. So the Giants know him very well, and they'll look to see if they can jump on Edwin Jackson early. Behind Edwin Jackson, his defense will look like this. It'll be Dickerson, Jankowski, and Kemp in the outfield from left to right. Solarte, Ramirez, Schempf, and Myers from third to first. Bethancourt, who we've seen in the outfield in this series, is doing the catching, and he's catching because he's got pretty good ownage on Johnny Cueto. He's 3 for 4 lifetime against Cueto.
Edwin Jackson, 2 wins and 4 losses in his career against the Giants with a 5.59 earned run average. 9 games, 8 of them as a starter. And of course, he originally came up with the Dodgers, and he was sort of the young phenom at that time, 20 years old, and people started talking about him with his fastball and the kind of stuff that he had. And they said, wow, this kind of reminds me of a young Bob Gibson out there. But it never really came around for him.
It was a high fastball guy, and we'll see if that has changed. Time for our Nissan keys of the game. Stop the free passes. Giants walked 7 last night, and those walks and some shoddy defense really hurt them. And just check out the Pagan Jackson matchup. Pagan is 7 for 11 lifetime against Edwin Jackson.
Denard Span to stand in. Fans still coming into the ballpark. 251 with a 328 on base percentage for Span. And it's ball 1, 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Denard Span 5 for 16 in his career against Jackson, plus a couple of walks. 389 on base average against this veteran right-hander. And that's very high. And it's 2-0. And Jackson has always been a guy who has battled with his command, his ability to get the ball in the strike zone on a regular basis. "32 years old, big guy, 6 feet 2 inches tall, and there is a called strike, and it's 2-1. The umpiring alignment: Gabe Morales is behind the plate with Ed Hickox at first, Mike Estabrook at second, and the crew chief Dana DeMuth umpiring at third. The third baseman Solarte was playing shallow, but no indication of a bunt, so he backs up a little bit now. Did he swing at that one? Dana DeMuth is not going to be asked because Gabe Morales made the call himself. Said, yeah, that's a strike. Giants head off to Boston after the game. They'll have a day off there tomorrow. The Red Sox are at Yankee Stadium for the Sunday night national telecast. Off the inside with a cutter or a slider, and the count is 3-2. Jackson last year split the season between the Cubs and Atlanta, and for the first time in his career he never started a game. He was used exclusively as a reliever, and that's too low. So a walk to start the day for the Giants, and here comes Angel Pagan. And as you said, Kite, Pagan has done well against Jackson. Only 11 career at bats, but 6 singles and a double in those 11 at bats. A .636 career average. .289 against all comers this year, and a .331 on base average. Pagan, a switch hitter, and there's very little difference between his average as a lefty versus a righty, hitting .285 lefty and .295 right-handed. Hold open up on the right side. There goes Span with a big jump, and the throwdown is much too late from Bethancourt. I think Bethancourt took a risk even throwing it at all. I don't think he had a chance to get Pagan.
You're right. It was a good jump, and this is what the Giants are hoping to see more of from Denard Span. Get on first, steal second, and now you're off and rolling. And on this day game, this Sunday afternoon, Span seems to be running very well.
So now you hit second in your long major league career often. First inning, runner at second, now nobody out. What's in your head if you're hitting second?
I'm going to get him over to third.
This may not do it. And that one is caught in foul ground by Dickerson.
Broadcaster's jinx.
I never should have asked.
I should have said I'm going to pop out to left field, and then Pagan would hit a grounder to second. Unbelievable.
Here comes Brandon Belt. Well, Willie Mays used to talk about when Herman Franks was the Giants manager back in the 60s, that Herman would give the lineup card to Willie and have him make it out. And Willie'd say, if that number 2 hitter doesn't get that guy over with nobody out in the first inning, I'm not putting him in the number 2 spot the next day. Belt into center field. Jankowski. Well, that would have been plenty deep enough to score a Span. And this one does not even get him to third. Hit well by Belt, but into an out. Brandon Belt is now 0 for 9 since the All-Star break. He's only been on base 1 time in the series. Buster Posey, 3-hit game last night, including a single, a double, and a homer. 2 batted in, hitting .293 for the year. Buster also was in the squad for about 180 pitches thrown by Giants pitchers last night. Ball 1.
Time now for a Togo's big play the Togo's way. Buster Posey's home run in the 10th off of Kevin Quackenbush. Looked like it was going to be the game winner. It was Posey's 114th career home run, but his first in extra innings.
Nobody covering at second, just bluffing him back.
It's really odd about this matchup. as good a high fastball hitter as Buster Posey is, lifetime against Edwin Jackson, he's 0 for 9.
I don't get it. Now that will get Span over to third. Not a very good job of ball blocking by Bethancourt. That was not the classic style. He kind of threw his glove down on top of that ball.
As much as catchers practice blocking pitches like that, where they have the glove up and you drop down to your knees, you're right, it was not a very good job.
And the skill level is such at the big league level that they make it look easy because they do it over and over again, but not that easy in actual practice. Easy fly ball to center, Jankowski, and the inning is over. So Span, who walked and then promptly stole second, is stranded. And now Johnny Cueto to the mound. Taking his final warm-ups. Here's a look at the Padres batting order. Jankowski, the speedster, center field. Will Myers, the all-star, first base. Matt Kemp in right field. Yangervis Solarte at third base. Alex Dickerson left field. Christian Bethancourt, the catcher. Ryan Schimpf, who was hitting the ball with extreme power last night, second base. Alexi Ramirez at short, and he is the guy who's had great success against Cueto over the years. Edwin Jackson, the pitcher, batting ninth.
Johnny Cueto on the hill. This will be his 19th start, and it'll be his 4th against the Padres. Very good luck this year against San Diego. He's 3-0, and he's looking to stop this 2-game losing streak. Remember, he pitched on Tuesday night in this ballpark as he started for the National League All-Star team.
So Cueto, Jake Peavy's in the bullpen if needed, and there's ball one to Jankowski. Only 88 miles an hour with that one, a two-seamer. 378 on base average for Jankowski, and that's into left center field. And they'll do well if they hold him to just 2 bases. And the quick return to the infield. It's a double for Jankowski.
In the outfield defensively, it'll be Pagan, Span, and Blanco. Tejada, Crawford, Pena, and Belt from third to first, and Buster Posey will do the catching.
Jankowski, that's his 28th hit of the year, only the 4th of which goes for extra bases. His second double in 107 at bats.
Yeah, now you got to keep an eye on Jankowski if you're Pena and Cueto. You cannot let him walk right into an attempt to steal third.
Will Myers, that one had movement back to the plate and called a strike.
Now you know that Cueto's not 100%, so you can keep an eye on at least what his velocity is, just to give you an idea of what's going on. And the first inning's always a little bit of a rough one sometimes for him.
Off the hands and into the crowd. 0-2. Matt Kemp is on deck. There's a souvenir. Tariq Brock, the first base coach for the Padres. Ramiro Pena, the second baseman for the Giants, shaded towards second, trying to help keep Jankowski close. Again, right in the hands. Back to the screen. He got 91 miles an hour on that one.
So you're seeing he's building on his fastball. And clearly Cueto and Buster Posey want to keep the ball in on Myers. They do not want him to get extended.
Buster drops aside.
One of those may be a fastball in.
1-2. Matt Kemp on deck. The big RBI guys are up with Jankowski in scoring position. Myers, the home run and RBI leader for the Padres, hitting .287, 20 homers, 61 RBIs. Kemp's knocked in 60. The man on deck. That is a cutter to the inside, but it stayed off the plate. 1-2. Dodgers are playing in Arizona again. Dodgers, who had a blown save of their own last night. Their closer, Kenley Jansen, could not hold a 1-0 lead in the ninth. And Arizona eventually won the game in extra innings. Giants are 5.5 ahead of LA, and LA is trailing 3-0 after 1.5 today. Well inside. Now it's a full count. Well, we saw last night what can happen when. In fact, it was the night before we saw what can happen when Myers gets those arms extended. Yeah. Went over the center field wall to the right of straightaway. Pretty good shot in this ballpark at nighttime. And Blanco in shallow right. Jankowski tags and bluffs. Blanco. The Giants had two different guys in the vicinity, and it went over the head of both of them.
Well, Crawford's intentions was not just to cut it off, but to cut it off and try to get Jankowski, who was off a little bit, and Pena just kind of blocked him off. Crawford's thinking is, look, Romero, if you're going to go after the ball, catch it, because I don't need that thing to carry him off your glove and hit me right in the forehead.
So an uncomfortable moment or two there for Brandon Crawford at the last. Here's Matt Kemp, and that was a big play, keeping Jankowski at second base. Same thing happened with Span at second in the first half of this inning. Pagan was not able to move him up. Here's Kemp, and he jams him, and a foul is out of play.
Well, Cueto and Posey intent now on, so far, pitching these right-handed hitters right in on their hands.
Matt Kemp, 17 homers, 60 batted in, only a .255 average. And he does not walk very often, a .277 on base percentage. That ball is hit well, right center field, but playable for Span. Jankowski's tagging up, and he will move over to third on this one. Ramiro Pena runs it back in. So 2 down. A runner at third, and the cleanup batter, Yangervis Solarte, will come up. Giants will be at Fenway Park starting Tuesday. They'll spend this coming week in the American League. Play 2 of the premier teams in the American League East, 2 historic teams. The Boston Red Sox, 2 at Fenway, and then the New York Yankees, 3 at Yankee Stadium.
The designated hitter.
There's Ramiro Pena. And the inning is over. So Cueto gets through it nicely after the leadoff double by Jankowski. Brandon Crawford coming up.
Bay Area is brought to you by AAA. Get a free road trip day pack with a AAA insurance quote. Go to AAA.com/road trip or a AAA branch for details. Restrictions apply.
Bid now on game-used Stars and Stripes memorabilia from the Giants' July the 4th game against the Rockies. It features jerseys, caps, and nameplates from the 2016 All-Stars, Bumgarner, Cueto, Posey, and many more of your favorite Giants players. The auction ends tonight at 7 Pacific time. Visit sfgiants.com/game-used-auction to put in your bid or bids. There's ball one to Brandon Crawford. We start the second inning. Crawford, 9 homers, a club leading 61 runs batted in, 281 average, 350 on base percentage. Just off the outside. He also, according to one of the statistical groups that tracks defensive numbers, and he's had the best defensive record in terms of saving runs of anybody in the National League at any position. It's back out of play.
And I know I have to get over this, but not an all-star.
Not an all-star. Of course, that's just RBIs and on base average and great defense. That doesn't make him an all-star, which we say tongue-in-cheek, although literally it did not make him an all-star this year. This is Schimpf. A little bit high. Just a bit high. And he got to break the ball, hit the screen in front of the dugout. Ricocheted back, so Crawford will get just the one base.
It's important to get both halves of the play. That's a good play. That's not a good play. And consequently, as you said, because of that screen, it kept Crawford from being at second base. Years ago in the old ballparks, there was no screens in front of the dugouts because the dugouts weren't that close to the field.
It would have gone right into the dugout, and Crawford would be at second base. They started moving the backstop closer to home plate. The stands themselves, including the dugouts. And now they have the screen in front of most dugouts. Ball one to Gregor Blanco. You see how the Padres are playing him. Giants hit 4 home runs last night. That may be more than anything else the part that rankled Bruce Bochy. He had all those home runs and make this brilliant comeback and still lose the game. And it's off the outside with a breaking ball.
I asked him, the manager, how he was doing this morning, and he said it took him quite a while to get over that one last night.
We don't manage the club. We don't play for the club. It took us a while to get over it.
Absolutely.
3-0 to Blanco. Patience is truly a virtue against Edwin Jackson. Ramiro Pena is on deck. 3-0 Arizona leading the Dodgers. They're in the top of the third on the out-of-town scoreboard in Phoenix. There's Buster Posey. And that is a 4-pitch walk to move Crawford over to second. Second walk already allowed by Edwin Jackson, putting 2 men on. Ramiro Pena coming to the plate last night. He hit a double and then later hit a long home run into right field.
He did what all middle infielders would like to do. You make an error, cost the Giants a run, come back and hit a home run to make up for it. I never got to do that.
So if you made an error, well, you could hit a triple.
It's just not the same.
Not quite the same. Back to the screen. Now it's 0-2. This is a big fly, that home run last night.
Yeah, you got a breaking ball. Mac Williamson did the same thing on a breaking ball earlier in the inning.
I went online to the hit tracker online, to their home run tracker. And they have a formula, mathematical formula, using principles of physics and whatnot. He laid off that one. Up out of the zone. No swing, says Dana DeMuth on the appeal.
Dana got into that one, didn't he?
He did. Dana, did he swing?
Reminded me of Ken Kaiser. Ken Kaiser on a cold day in Cleveland had both of his hands in his pockets, and he decided not to take his hands out. He just dropped his right shoulder.
And did that mean yes or no?
Yes, he went around.
Okay. This could be a double play. Oh, yes. Wow. I thought he beat it. There, umpiring from the booth again. Giants are looking at the video. Sean Dunston and Chad Chopp. Ron Wotus, the bench coach, on the phone. And I think the Giants are going to ask the umpires in New York to review this one. The ball's got to be in the glove, securely in the glove of the first baseman before the foot hits the bag, or the runner is safe. Now remember, they've called him out, so they have to have indisputable evidence that the call was wrong if they're going to change it.
I think your call from here was better than Ed Hickok's call from down there. And that's not a reflection on Ed Hickok's, but I think you got it right.
I was a little surprised when he made that call.
So I'm going to say, really nice call, John Miller.
There's the call. He's safe, as we expected.
That replay review was presented by Xfinity.
As we said originally. Yeah, I got that one right. But watch the foot hit the bag there, and the ball's not even really that close to the glove yet. That was one of the shortest replay reviews ever that we've had.
Ever. Well, now Tejada's got to take advantage of it.
Ruben Tejada. He's hitting only 161 for the Giants. 5 hits, 31 at bats. But he's been hitting the ball pretty well. He got jammed on that one. And again, he wants to be the guy. He wants to expand the strike zone. He doesn't want to take a walk and leave it to Johnny Cueto to knock in a run. But at the same time, this is a pitcher who tends toward wildness, and that ball was way inside. Infield double play depth. He ran up as if to bunt. The throw to third, and the throw was high and wide. Crawford safely back.
Just for a second, it looked like Crawford, who was trying to get a good jump, had Tejada been able to lay it down. I mean, you could see the skid marks where Crawford stopped, and he was way down the line.
Well, it might have been a little too interesting for Crawford had that throw been a good one right at the bag. So Tejada indicating a bunt on that last pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. That is drilled but foul. And a breaking ball. Hit it hard but into the seats. Now he's behind in the count. 1-2.
Well, the safety squeeze is a good play, but the guy at third has to get a good jump, and that's why Crawford was inching down the line.
It's got to be a decent bunt, unlike the suicide squeeze. If you just get it on the ground, you've probably gotten him home. 1-2. Right by it. 94 miles an hour.
Well, that's a huge out for Jackson because now you got Cueto coming up.
The Giants are 0 for 5 already in this game with runners in scoring position. after going 1 for 10 last night in those crucial at bats. And that was a spot where he didn't necessarily need a hit. A fly ball hit decently could have gotten a run home. So Cueto to try to do it himself here. Off the catcher, Bethancourt. Ouch. 0-1. Trying to shake it off. Catchers have protective gear, but I don't think they have nearly enough.
So inside right thigh. And this one's taking a little while for Bethancourt to shake it off. And now he's going to turn around, and problem is half the battle is crawling up that hill if you got a dinged up inner thigh. He also he leaves his right hand exposed, which is not a good idea. You need to take that hand and put it behind your back.
So it hit the inside part of the right thigh, and then it ricocheted down near the right ankle, and he had some protection down there, and it bounced across and got him somewhere in the left leg as well. Buster Posey, and he will sleep well tonight.
He will sleep on the plane.
10 innings last night, a 4-hour 5-minute game in which he was in the squat for 180 pitches, and that didn't include warming up pitchers between innings and all of that. And he was on base a lot last night with 3 hits, and back in there 12 hours later. Toward the middle, not hit very hard, and that ends the inning. Ramirez forcing out Pena. No score. By T-Mobile. Made the 18th at Petco earlier this year. Cueto was on the mound, and he had a complete game victory over the Pods, allowing just 4 hits and 1 run, 8 strikeouts, 2 walks. One of 4 complete games for Johnny Cueto, which leads the majors at the All-Star break. One of 3 wins for Cueto against the Padres in the first 2 months of the season. First Giant with 3 complete games of the season versus the same team since 1983. Adley Hammaker did it. Ramiro Pena, that ball was hit sharply by Dickerson, but into and out. 1 away. No score. The Giants have certainly had their chances. But not only have they not had a hit with a runner in scoring position, they haven't had a hit so far against Jackson, who's walked 2. Then there was the throwing error by Schimpf. So frustrating first 2 innings for the Giants with the bats. They are 0 for 6 in their bats with runners in scoring position already. Here's Bethancourt. 0-1 the count. Bethancourt, in only 101 official at bats, has 4 home runs. He's been an excellent pinch hitter for the Pods. He's the backup catcher, and he can play other positions. Nice hop for Crawford and a strong throw to first. Bethancourt is a fast runner for a catcher or otherwise, and he was hustling up the line.
He's trying to run that bruise off of his inner thigh.
So here comes Ryan Schimpf. Arizona with a 4-0 lead over the Dodgers. Kenta Maeda, the Dodgers starter today, and Paul Goldschmidt, or rather Jake Lamb, with a home run into one of those balconies above the 413 marker in deep right center. That game is in the top of the 4th inning now in Phoenix. No score here. 2 down, nobody on. Cueto's changeup. That missed somewhere, but it didn't look that bad. And that one well off the outside. 2-1. Jake Peavy is still sitting out in the Giants bullpen. He's scheduled to be the Giants starter Tuesday at Fenway Park. Wow. Listen, that was a close pitch.
Very close. A lot of close pitches in the game last night.
A quick pitch, and he's off the outside, so it's a walk.
Strike zone on Friday was very large. Strike zone yesterday was very tight.
Well, that, according to the Pitch FX on the MLB At Bat app, the 2-1 pitch was right on the inside, not on the black, but right on the inside part of the plate. Anyway, so it goes.
Look for strikes. That's all.
That's the advice from Eddie Montague, the longtime Major League umpire. What, 35 years he was an umpire. But they're all going to miss some. There's no getting around it. 1 ball, 1 strike to the guy who has had the best success of any Padre in the past against Cueto. Maybe the best success against Cueto of anybody in the league in the past. He's 10 for 19 in his career against Cueto, a .526 batting average, and that includes a home run. And that cutter is just off the outside.
Problem for Eddie is he's retired and he's still looking for strikes.
He's sort of a calling a strike missionary in that regard.
Yeah, he goes to bowling alleys now.
I think he has success there.
Yeah.
So he's good. He's good at bowling. 2-2 the count. He changed up on him. The Marine recruits, over 300 Marine recruits from Delta Company, the first recruit training battalion from the Marine Corps Recruit Depot in San Diego, here today, enjoying the game. It's always fun to see them at the ballpark. Now it's a full count. That's a regular feature here on Sundays. Padres wear their military fatigue jerseys, and they invite members of the military, usually some recruits, come over and enjoy the game with them. There's a foul out of play. The military. This is really a military town, and has long been.
I don't know if they're coming or going, or they're doing both. Maybe it's an exercise.
So maybe they go in groups to get a hot dog and a soda.
So.
There goes the runner. And a pop-up. Brandon Belt will give way to Ramiro Pena. And the side is retired. Not this time for Ramirez. On to the third, top of the order. Span, Pagan, and Belt coming up. No score.
Bay Area is brought to you by Big O Tires. Tires, service, straight talk. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
We're not far from there. The beach here in San Diego. It's a great day to be at the beach or at the ballpark where we are. No score here at Petco Park. Top of the order up against Edwin Jackson. And to tell you all about it, here's Dwayne Kuiper.
And the pitch to Span is a called strike. Denard Span opened up the ball game with a walk. And then he stole second. And then he was left stranded. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, this guy has issued 2 walks already in the first 2 innings. So it's a good idea to not swing wildly up there and help him out.
And the pitch is high, so it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Pagan to follow, and then Belt. Playing a foul, good swing by Span. It's now 2-2.
Is that a Kuiper?
That's a Kuiper in the orange shirt. My daughter Dannon, her boyfriend Zach, in front of the Bear Boys. I'm sure that's a lemonade, don't you think? Thank you for not commenting as Ramirez throws out Span.
I just wasn't sure if it was a lemonade or maybe something a little more exotic.
Lemonade.
Hey, the Nationals will be in town at the end of July at AT&T Park. On Saturday, July 30th, is Lego Day. It's a special event including a Lucille buildable Lego figure, a pregame Lego build experience, and a ticket to see the Giants and the Nats. Visit sfgiants.com/special events for more info.
This lefty's ready. That's a future short reliever right there. Is Pagan takes a breaking ball down low.
By the way, last night we saw Buddy Bauman make his major league debut. He came on in the 5th inning.
Yeah.
Threw one pitch, got out of a tight spot, and they lifted him before the next inning. And today they sent him back to the minors.
He's on a plane right now thinking, what do I have to do?
It could have been a contender.
Pagan hit a pop-up down the left field line and was retired in the 1st inning. Belt to follow. So it's 3-0. And the walk. So a walk-in inning so far for Edwin Jackson, and the Giants have not been able to take advantage of it. So here's Belt.
Well, I feel that Brandon is definitely due. He hit a fly ball to center his first time today and is 0 for 9 with 5 strikeouts so far since the All-Star break.
Overshift is on for Belt. Ramirez, the lone defender, on the left side. And this is slowly hit. And it's likely they're only going to be able to get one, and that's true. So Belt gets jammed on the first pitch.
Strong throw by Schimpf. And he kind of pivoted off that bag, and we just saw a replay on the in-house monitor. Let's take a look at it here on our monitor. They might call him out. This may be a replay review. Mark McGuire trying to get word from the video room. Again, they have to be sure. Well, they're going for it. The umpires in New York City will decide.
So this replay review is presented by Xfinity.
Ed Hickox. Okay, there. I don't know. When you see that angle, was it in the glove before the foot hit? You couldn't say definitely yes from that shot. It's got to be securely in the glove before the foot hits the bag. And that made it look like it might have been simultaneous, which that's safe if it happens at the same time. It's got to be there before. Watch when it gets into the webbing of the glove. Is the foot? You'll see there, you can't quite say, is the foot on the bag? There you might say maybe he's out.
Yeah.
Although you couldn't see his whole foot, it was obstructed from view. All right, here's the call from New York. So Brandon Belt. So the call stands as originally made. He's safe at first.
So I believe that was Solarte that fielded that ball.
Oh, Solarte, not Schimpf. Okay.
Because of the overshift.
Okay. So it was to the second base position, but it was the third baseman playing the second base position.
But now with all the overshifts, when you go back on your scorecard and you see 5 unassisted, it doesn't necessarily mean that the ball was hit to third. Here's Posey, and Buster takes a call strike, and it's 0-1.
We really have to rethink the way we've been keeping score for the last 55 years.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Since our dads taught us how to do it.
Now you almost have to like write notes.
It was 5-3, but it was hit to 4.
Buster hit a fly ball to center field in the first inning. He did that with Span at third. No score. We are in the Top of the third inning.
But I think that call was left the way it was because of the original call.
And tight, meaning that if they would have called him out, it would have stood as out if they looked at the replay.
Because they wouldn't have been able to say without question that was the wrong call. They've got to be able to say that is absolutely the wrong call, no question about it, to be able to change it. So the original call is still of vital importance many, many times.
So Buster now can look for a pitch that he can lean on. It's 3 balls and 1 strike. Remember, he's 0 for 10 in his career against Edwin Jackson. Three and 2.
Well, there's another indicator, and Buster's never had a hit against Jackson. That's a pitch, that spot that Buster launches quite often.
Belt will go. It's 3 and 2. Crawford is on deck. And Belt goes, and this is popped up. It's going to be up to the second baseman, Schemp, and he makes the catch, and that'll end the inning. No runs, a walk. Again, 1 left. It'll be Edwin Jackson to lead things off.
CSN Bay Area is brought to you by your Bay Area Hyundai dealers. Great deals on amazing cars are going on now at your Hyundai dealer. Visit buyhyundai.com today.
We have a scoreless game here in San Diego, with the Padres coming up here in the bottom of the third.
Look at that. He's a young kid, but he's grown a mustache.
I'm sure he had a lot of fun getting ready to come to this game. There's Paul Stripe. Jackson, and then Jankowski, and then Myers facing Cueto. And this is hit off the end of the bat. Span coming in, and it's going to fall. So Jackson opens up the inning with a base hit. Dave Fleming will be in for innings 4, 5, and 6.
Looks really dark over there in the radio booth.
It does look dark, doesn't it?
Dark and lonely. I would never want to work over there.
You're going to get your chance for 3 innings as Jankowski steps up. Doubled into left center field in the first. And this pop-up is going to reach the seats, although Tejada will give chase.
Baseball will confound you over and over and over again. Edwin Jackson leading off this inning with that bloop single. Giants have had 6 different hitters come to the plate where if they'd been able to do what he just did, they likely would have had a run. So he's now gotten 1 more hit than he's allowed.
Big swing and a miss, nothing in 2.
What are the odds? Not good.
Not good. Placed perfectly just over Crawford and in front of Span. Cueto showing that pitch to Jankowski off the plate.
He's not a bad hitter. He came into the game today hitting 169 in his major league career, 248 at bats.
Got him. Strikeout number 1 for Cueto. And here's Myers. Myers popped out to Blanco in the first inning. Remember, Cueto is trying to crowd Myers in on his hands. And you do that when a guy likes to get extended. And Myers has got extended a few times this year, 20 to be exact.
Little cutter, looked like, on the outside. But that's kind of Cueto-like, because he was all over his hands pitch after pitch after pitch, and he starts him on the outside with a little cutter.
On the ground to third. Tejada, Pena, Belt, and just like that, side retired. We'll say goodbye to John. We'll see him back here in the 7th. Dave Fleming coming in. 0-0.
Area is brought to you by Heffernan Insurance Brokers. Insurance and financial services for you and your business. Visit hefins.com.
No score as we head to the 4th inning. And Crawford's going to lead things off. Dave Fleming joins us. Look lonely over there.
It was a little lonely. It's quiet.
You're never wrong when you work alone.
Nope. I made a lot of good points in the first few
Yes,
innings.
you did. We'll find out if you saved any.
Brandon Crawford, he's a good player.
Not an all-star.
He was not.
Crawford reached on an error in the second. Giants had an opportunity in the second. First and third, one out. And Tejada struck out. Blanco and then Pena. So 3 left-handed hitters in a row facing Edwin Jackson, who's not allowed to hit, but he has walked 3. This is hit sharply to Schempf. 1 out. And here's Blanco. I was thinking this morning that it's a bit odd that you get 4 days off, and then after last night's game, the bullpen's kind of tired.
Yeah, it's and not the way it's supposed to work, but of course,
All it takes is 1 4-hour and 5-minute game.
it's one game.
It's not that tired where Bruce Bochy's concerned, but Cueto going a few innings would be a good idea. And he already has. 0-1 to Blanco. Two down.
Well, it can sort of sound ridiculous, but in a way, even just a few extra hours. You know, if tonight's a night game, you play that long game, and then you have the full day for everybody to kind of recharge. But when you do have the quick turnaround time, it can feel like the game gets on you in a hurry.
A 4-hour and 5-minute game would have been better on Friday night, because then you got the whole day the next day to recover, especially for a guy like Buster Posey. Pena reached on a fielder's choice in the second.
Well, tired might be the wrong word, but the Giants are looking like a team that needs a little something to get them going today.
A healthy rip by Pena. And with 2 outs, why not? Plus, you put one in the seats last night and you give it a go again. Out of play. It stays 0-2.
I mean, this is a guy who's not getting anybody out in the big leagues, in the minor leagues. He just threw back-to-back fastballs. One was 97, and that last one was 96.
Yeah, he's always been able to do that. But we've seen the control issues, but he's pitched out of a couple of jams. He's taking his rips. It stays at 0-2. The scoreboard here telling us that Ramiro Pena spent the 2015 season with the Padres AAA affiliate El Paso. So he's pretty familiar with the organization that he's facing right now. Got him, and that'll end the inning, and that's the second strikeout. So bottom of the fourth coming up. It remains a 0-0. 14 at Petco Park against Houston Street. Michael Morris led off the top of the ninth with a home run to tie the game at 3-3. Then Belt hit a 2-run home run in the 10th off of Dale Thayer, and the Giants won it 5-3. How about that? Hunter Pence, I know that guy.
Yeah. I guess after all the angst, Hunter Pence is okay. They think, they hope. He's not going to play today, but left that game, his first rehab game yesterday, first rehab game, and was grabbing his hamstring. But they say it was not a setback.
So plus he got hit.
He got hit, and apparently that's what triggered the whole reaction.
Kemp hits a drive into left center field. On the move is Pagan. It is gone. And the Padres on the board. It's 1-0. Well, in a different way, maybe that'll jumpstart the Giants. Second one in the series for Kemp. Yep. Tailed right back into his happy zone. Doesn't take much of a stride. He's still got a lot of power. He doesn't run like he used to. But... So here's Solarte. And he takes a strike. Solarte rolled one out to Pena in his only other at bat, and here he takes one wide. No overshift, but Crawford playing behind second base in a big swing. And a miss. It's 1-2.
Well, the two teams combined for 6 home runs last night, and you always figure in this park that the day games the ball is going to travel even better. So I think we all assumed coming into today this would be a day to hit. The ball would carry.
Giants have hit 2 fly balls, 3. They all came in the first inning. 2 of them went to center field. A quick timeout call by Gabe Morales. It's 2-2. Got him. Bruce Bochy on Hunter Pence leaving his rehab game early after a hit by pitch and a single. He was trying to get out of the way of the hit by pitch, and he thinks he aggravated the hamstring. It got a little sore, and the Giants were just being cautious. That's our Geico quote.
There was optimism there. He wasn't going to play today, but that the rehab would get going once again tomorrow. So we'll see.
Hunter always making it interesting.
And the hamstring is just so finicky, and you just run that risk of the re-injury.
Well, it's that and the concussion, those 2 things, and of course that's what Pence and Panik are dealing with. Duffy, on the other hand, Duffy's the Achilles.
Right. And that's got its own set of issues where you worry about the much bigger catastrophic full blowout when you have that irritation. So that's kind of why they're slow playing Duffy. A couple pretty close pitches there.
Now this is Alex Dickerson, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Close enough that Cueto went off the back of the mound, maybe just to take a deep breath, calm himself down a little bit. And a quick pitch and a pop-up. Now Blanco was playing way back, and it's Pena who puts it away. I don't think I've ever seen Gregor Blanco play that deep. But Pena got back to make the play.
Yeah.
Blanco's always a guy that, you know, you just think if it's hit in the air to the outfield, he's going to catch it.
Maybe a little different for Pena in that it's not 250-pound Mac Williamson. We've already seen that one before.
It's more my style, says Pena. I can take on Blanco. Here's Bethancourt. Bethancourt bounced out to Crawford in the second inning. Pitch count wise for Cueto, everything is right on track. Little dipsy-do and a long drive to left. And Bethancourt got this one. Bethancourt now 4 for 6 lifetime against Cueto. So 2 home runs here in the fourth. It's 2-0.
Their version of the foghorn was going off before the dang ball landed. It was halfway out there and they already sounded the home run horn. You hear that?
You can do that, but at some point it's going to get you.
Yeah. Better to wait. Okay, he does have a lot of tools.
Here's Schimpf. Curveball for a strike. Schimpf drew a walk, and there's a close pitch called a ball. Good day to hit, I guess. Cueto trying to shave that outside corner, and he's not getting the call. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Buster Posey shading his eyes, and it's going to be out of play. So it's 2-2. On deck is Alexi Ramirez. Full count. Schimpf hit a home run yesterday, and then he just missed another one.
It hadn't been that many games with the All-Star break, but top slugging percentage in the big leagues in July.
That's going to be in front of Blanco. And a base hit.
So of all the guys you'd list in Major League Baseball, who's got the best slugging percentage in July? You probably wouldn't list him.
No, but when you come into a series and you haven't heard a lot about a guy and you do the eye test, it's been pretty good.
Takes a good rip.
Here's Ramirez. He popped out to Pena in the second. First pitch is wide. John mentioned it. The history of the Ramirez-Cueto matchup is pretty favorable for Ramirez. He's now 10 for 20. So he does get the strike on the outside corner. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, Cueto got him his first time up, but it was not easy. Took him a lot of pitches. It just never seems to be easy against this guy.
Pena to belt, and that'll end the inning. 2 home runs And it means a 2-0 lead for the Padres. NorCal Acura Grand Slam giveaway on CSN. Diana Emig will win an Acura MDX if the Giants player hits a Grand Slam this inning. So go to AcuraNorCalDealers.com for more information on how to enter. Diana Emig, EMIG. So it is the 5th, and here's Dave.
All right, let's see if the Giants now behind for the first time in this game. They rallied yesterday and started right around this time in the game with some better at bats. See if they can do that for a second straight day. Bottom part of the order, 8, 9, and then back to number 1 against Edwin Jackson, who has not given up a hit. That doesn't mean the Giants haven't had some chances. They have. Tejada had a good chance to knock in a run and struck out his first time up. He had first and third, 1 out. Ball 2. You said it during the 4th inning when we watched 2 Padres balls fly out of the yard against Cueto. It does seem like it's a good day to hit. The Giants, I'm looking at my scorecard. Have they hit a ball hard yet? They haven't really tested that. There's ball 3 to Tejada.
Take that as a no.
You can sort of start there with some loud contact and see what happens. I would guess Tejada's going to be taking here. And a walk would be a good play with the pitcher coming up next. Give Cueto a chance to bunt. That's a strike. You can lean out of the way. You're not going to sell that one. Tejada could still be picky. There's Cueto. That's ball 4. It's a leadoff walk.
Well, at some point, you have to make that hurt. We watched Samardzija yesterday walk the first 2 guys that he faced, and they both scored. The Giants did take the lead in the 10th, had their closer in. Everything looked like it was going to be fine. But the point is the Padres took advantage of it.
So now Cueto probably to bunt. He goes to bunt, bunts it right in front of the plate. Bethancourt gets the out there, and they get the double play. Well, that did not work, and that's not taking advantage of the walk. Cueto is an excellent bunter. Just didn't get it far enough away from the catcher.
No, you're right. Once it goes out in front of home plate, it's an easy call for Bethancourt. And although it was a close play at first, I don't even know if the Giants are checking on it. I'm sure they are. Half a step.
Well, Cueto's upset at himself. He takes pride in that. He is a good bunting pitcher. But you get the leadoff walk, and one pitch later, 2 outs, nobody on.
Well, plus it all happens. Your 8th place hitter is setting up the top of the order.
Yep. So now Denard Span, who was 0 for 1 with a walk, shows a bunt, takes a strike. Breaking ball. Span walked, stole second, but was stranded in the first inning. Still no hits for the Giants. That one is to center field, not deep. And after the leadoff walk, that's going to be a very quick inning for Edwin Jackson. On we go to the bottom of the 5th. Cueto back on the mound. It's 2-0 Padres.
On CSN Bay Area is brought to you by PG&E, together building a better California.
Well, Giants fans, a chance to experience a night under the stars at AT&T Park. Always fun. The AT&T Giants Slumber Party, Wednesday, July 27th. After the Giants-Reds game, you need the special ticket to participate. sfgiants.com/slumber party for more info. That is a highlight event. The pitcher, Edwin Jackson, foul ball to start the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, and stop by Dave Fleming's tent. He'll have margaritas and beer.
This will be the first time. A lot of times they have that thing as we're leaving town, like a day game, and then we go out on the road. It's called strike to Jackson. It's 0-2. So we're in town. The kids want to do it, so I'll be there. I will.
I wasn't lying.
The Flemings will be at the sleepover. Quick pitch, ball 1.
Well, let me repeat myself. Stop by Dave Fleming's tent. He'll have margaritas and a beer. Can you let me know where your tent is located? That way I can let everybody else know.
Well,
would that be a no?
It's possible that during that day on Wednesday we might know ahead of time. Possible.
We'll get there early and stake out your claim.
Well, there's a game. I can't. I have to work the game.
Just miss the wrap and race down there.
Ralph Barbieri style.
Yes.
It's still 2-2.
Ralph's still trying to put up that 10.
Very rarely have we ever laughed harder. The wind, it was not a good day to try to pitch a 10. That's ball 3. Well, Cueto was ahead 0-2. You got the pitcher and then the top of the order after this. So this is a big pitch. Giants trail 2-0. Got to be able to throw a strike here. And he does. Jackson softly on the ground. Not an easy play, and Crawford doesn't make it. Wow. Well, Jackson was hustling. That's a play that Crawford makes just about every time.
Yeah, I think what you're going to see on this replay is the ball flattened out on Crawford. And this hop here, it stayed down. And Crawford was expecting it to come up a little bit more.
That's base runner for the Padres to start the inning. That's an error against Crawford. It's been that kind of day so far for the Giants. And we're getting later in the day now. Jankowski takes a backdoor cutter, strike 1. He's been kind of a pain on the Giants in this series. 1 for 2 with a double in this one. He goes to bunt, pulls it. Posey shovels, and Posey is saying, wait a minute. And Buster's arguing with Gabe Morales about that one.
It changed directions.
Yeah. Posey's saying it was a double hit, I think.
The ball doesn't change directions. See, it may have hit the barrel of his bat.
Yeah, it did. For sure it did. I mean, Posey knew that. How did Gabe Morales miss that one? That's pretty clear. This is one of those instances where the umpire is sort of obligated to ask for some help. But there's no question that that one hit the bat a second time.
Well, if this is not replayable, then throw the system out. If it's not replayable, throw it out.
Yeah. I mean, why would that?
I mean, there may be a game-changing play.
And Posey knew it right away.
Of course, it changed directions.
Obvious to him.
I mean, if a ball is headed towards the third base line and all of a sudden it now moves towards first.
Somebody's got to see that, and somebody did see it. So now Gabe Morales is coming over.
Yeah, they're going to call it a foul ball.
Foul ball. Andy Green will get the explanation.
But here's look. If they changed it, why not do it right away? Why not raise your hands and say no? I mean, look, they get it right, but still. I don't think there's any doubt that Dana DeMuth probably had a better angle at it than Gabe Morales.
So after all that, back to first base Edwin Jackson, back in the batter's box Jankowski.
So you have to ask for the umpires to come together before they will change the call.
Right. They're not going to do it on their own.
Well, they should do it on their own.
They should. Somebody should just jump right in. It's 0-2. Jankowski strikes out swinging. 1 out. And he's upset, but he knows better than anybody.
Of course.
And maybe he's just ticked off that he struck out for a second straight time.
Sure that he was.
So here's Will Myers, 0 for 2. This is a big spot in this game. Giants still don't have a hit. Giants have been totally shut down offensively by Edwin Jackson. They got to stay close. The pitch from Cueto. That's called strike. 93 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's loose now.
Just the 2 solo home runs for the Padres, but that is the difference in this game. Inside. Will Myers, who it's not like he crowds the plate like some hitters we see. He does have that dramatic jump back on a pitch that's in. That one outside, 2-1.
Now they're trying to get in on his hands. They realize the damage he does when he gets extended.
Good player Will Myers earned his spot on the All-Star team. He's the one guy the Padres have said is not. They haven't out and out said everybody else is tradable. That's a strike. They got that one in 2-2. But he's the one guy they've specifically said we're going to build around this guy, Will Myers.
And he hit cleanup because of
cleanup in the All-Star game.
Yes, because he's from here.
Yeah, hometown guy. Cleanup for the National League, and he hit a double, right?
Maybe he did.
It was a few days ago. Here's a ball. Wow. Cueto wanted it. Posey wanted it. Full count, 3-2.
Nope. No corners today, says Gabe Morales. And Cueto showing his unhappiness now has made Gabe Morales unhappy.
Yeah. To get it together here. This is a very dangerous hitter. No matter how unhappy you are, still got to make a good pitch. 3-2.
And they may come back with the same pitch.
Hit foul. 94 miles an hour out of that one.
And that was away from the target.
So he might have gotten away with it. Another 3-2. It's ball 4. Like the slider, he missed. 2 on, 1 out for Kemp. Last time up, Matt Kemp hit a home run.
A really good mistake hitter.
And you said it, a lot of the other skills have deteriorated. He's not a very good defensive outfielder. He doesn't run the way he once did. I mean, this was a guy who was a 5-tool star. And he's not that anymore, but he's got a lot of power. 18 home runs. He's hit a home run in each of these last 2 games, today and yesterday. 2 on, 1 out. Strike 1.
This is the one today. If you check the location, right down the middle of the plate, and Kemp gets it out.
He was ready for it right away. A little jam shot. Crawford will throw out Kemp. The Giants can only get one. Just wasn't hit hard enough to think about the double play. If Cueto could have fielded it, then maybe. 2 down. Up comes Solarte. He makes this a big at bat with 2 runners in scoring position. A base hit could make it a 4-0 game.
Well, Cueto can play around with Solarte if he wants to, because he's got a base open. Dickerson is the next hitter. They're both left-handed hitters.
They play Solarte to pull. That's ball one, not close. Maybe that's what he'll do. Try to get Solarte to chase.
I mean, Solarte's a guy that, you know, he wants to be a hero. He's got two guys in scoring position. So if you know a guy is like that, then you can see if he will chase a high fastball or a pitch in the dirt.
The 1-0. He chased up. Similar kind of pitch. This one closer to the zone, so more tempting. That's the idea. He did look a little over anxious. So that was a good pitch. Inside, ball two.
The ability to pitch inside. Cueto has that ability, as you saw that last pitch. He did not want to throw that pitch for a strike, and he missed about 4 inches off the plate.
That was a big topic this week when the Padres traded Drew Pomeranz to the Red Sox. Lots of folks were talking about the thing that has changed Pomeranz so much. Lefty who pitches inside aggressively to right-handed hitters. Made him a much better pitcher. Made him an all-star. And we miss him. He would have pitched today. That's why Edwin Jackson was called up. But we'll see him at Fenway.
Right.
It's a little strange. 2-1 to Solarte. And they'll try to pick off Will Myers, who was paying attention.
Well, Jackson is pitching like Pomeranz today.
He is. That's strike two on the outside. Got the call. 2-2. Still have that open base at first. Bottom of the fifth. Trying to keep this a 2-run deficit. Got him with the fastball. A good pitching by Cueto. Solarte breaks his bat in disgust. Big hitters coming up. 2-0 Pods. Coors Light, last night's walk-off balk. The win by the Padres, first walk-off win by way of a balk in Padres history. First walk-off loss by way of a balk in Giants history.
Boy, am I glad we, as a member of the Giants organization, got that one out of the way.
Yeah, in case you were wondering. And let's see it again.
So glad it's out of the way.
Yeah.
I wish they'd have gotten out of the way in '63. Instead, it happened in 2016. Killing me. Nothing more exciting than a walk-off balk.
Well, you know, and Bochy stuck around to talk about it with the umpire. He was trying to argue that, hey, he kept on making the pitch. It was all. I mean, I understand why.
Good try, Boch.
Good try. Good try.
A balk-off?
The balk-off win. That's a ball in the dirt to Pagan. My call was less than inspired.
Yeah, I think John had the call. I don't think it was very inspiring either.
It was sort of incredulous.
You could just do the hawk call and not say anything.
That would have been better almost.
Yeah. Although
on radio, that's tougher to do. Well, the Giants need a hit. They have how many hits? 0. We're in the 6th inning. A guy who was released by the Marlins was getting hit around in AAA. Edwin Jackson has been pretty tough today. That one on the ground to short. Ramirez throws out Pagan, 1 away. And the Giants haven't hit anything hard against him.
Tough loss hangover.
It feels like it today.
Get over it.
Now would be a good time. Well, he has one of these, a no-hitter in his career back in 2010 with the Diamondbacks. 9 innings, 8 walks, 149 pitches, no hits. 8 walks. Breaking ball to Brandon Belt for a called strike. Belt does not have a hit in this series. He's been on base 1 time in 3 games. So he's due. Hits that one well to center field. Jankowski will make the catch. Not well enough. 2 down.
I do think it's fairly dead to center, but not so much to left.
Off the bat, I thought that had a chance to get over his head, and not even close. So here's Posey, who's never had a hit against Edwin Jackson. Two down, nobody on. 2-0 Padres. Ball 1. Posey got himself into a fastball count last time up. It was 3-1. He got a fastball right out over the plate, and he just doesn't miss those. He chased one there, way inside. 1-1. It gives you an idea. It's only 10 at bats lifetime, but he just doesn't see the ball well against Edwin Jackson. Strike 2 with the slider. Buster doesn't think so.
And Buster's probably reminding him of a couple of close pitches that Cueto didn't get.
The 1-2. Posey strikes out swinging on the fastball. And the Giants 2, 3, 4 hitters are gone in order. No hits through 6 for Edwin Jackson. 2-0 Padres.
San Francisco Giants and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of San Francisco Baseball Associates, LLC.
Hey, check out Christmas in July. That's the offer. Receive one of the following items: Giants Nutcracker, Tents on the Fence doll, plus the game tickets. See the Giants take on the Reds on Monday the 25th. sfgiants.com/special.
Beautiful day, but so far, Giants getting shut down by Edwin Jackson. Cueto's pitched well, not great, but well. 2 solo home runs. The offense, Alex Dickerson took ball 1 from Cueto. And he kind of floats that one up and away, 2-0. Neither of those were what Cueto was hoping for. You got Dickerson 0 for 2, but then Bethancourt, who has one of those home runs, who's got success against Cueto, and it was the baseball's fault.
Get it out of here. He was fat.
2-0. Well, maybe not the baseball's fault. 3-0. That one just eased in there. 3-1.
Just like he's playing catch in the backyard.
Yep. Well, a couple misses like that get the attention of the pitching coach. Giants are going to get the bullpen going. 3-2. George Cantos. You and George were together yesterday for a Giants vacations event.
Yeah, with Bruce Bochy. It was great.
Full count. Cueto, what does he want to throw? Suppose he's going through all of them. That one. Foul back.
One of the questions to George Cantos was, George, Dwayne Kuiper gave you a nickname last year, and I'm thinking, ooh, what?
I did?
And I was like, what? It's like I'm befuddled.
I couldn't remember that one.
Well, it was maybe I don't even know if it was me. It could have been any one of us that started calling him Everyday George, because he was up every day, it seemed like. And when I heard that come out of the person's mouth, it was like, whew.
I can live with that one.
Yeah, that one would be.
Dickerson hanging in there against Cueto.
I do like the questions better at the Little League days. Way more entertaining.
Yeah.
The adult questions are really breaking down the game. You know, the little kids want to know how Buster Posey's parents met.
That one hit high down the right field line. Blanco toward the corner, and he can't get to it. And he thought he had a chance in foul territory. A fan reached over.
Well, if a fan reaches over, you could actually say maybe Blanco had an outside chance of catching it, and the Giants are going to take a look at it.
I mean, and it's not Ron Wotus on the phone. It's the manager. Is that like a special hotline?
Well, maybe Wotus is going to the bathroom and coach wants to look at it.
Yeah. He wants him to Gabe Morales has been totally taken by surprise. Huh? When the fan reached over, Blanco was getting close.
And then the guy with the guy that came out with the headset, he got in the way of the manager and the umpire. That guy right there.
Oh boy.
Look, young man, you got a couple of things to do. One is bring that stuff out. The other is get out of the way.
And it could be Bochy asking, well, am I allowed to review that one? And here's what I think about the play. Here's what I want them to look at. And yeah, they are going to take a look in New York.
I mean, now when they look at this, by the way, this replay review is presented by Xfinity. Do they also take into consideration whether Blanco had a chance to catch it?
Yes.
So Blanco has a chance to catch it.
He does. He's got a chance. And the fan reached out over the field of play. Yeah, that's you.
Yeah, you need to take a hike. Go watch the game in Denver.
Cueto's going to stay loose while they talk about this one.
Man, this is a tricky call.
It is. And I don't know what I would do if I were the umpires in New York. Fan interference. You are allowed to rule as an umpire that the ball would have been caught by the defensive player if the fan hadn't reached out.
I mean, that's a shot where you get an idea that Blanco had an outside shot at catching it.
Yeah, he was right. I mean, he is there. The ball isn't yet in the glove. Now it is. One more stride. He was reaching out, getting ready to try for it. So let's see what they say in New York. And no interference on the play. I think for the Giants, it's the bottom of the 6th. It's the last half inning where you must use a challenge to get a play looked at. So I think Bruce Bochy just decided to take a shot.
Didn't think it was a bad challenge at all.
(3-2). Another foul.
We go sometimes 3 or 4 or 5 games in a row where there's hardly any challenges. This has been a weekend of challenges.
Yeah. Literal and figurative.
Xfinity's getting their money's worth in this one.
Is this the 11th pitch of the at bat? At least one more coming. Dickerson being a pain to Cueto.
That's important because it's the leadoff hitter.
Yep. Just trying to figure something out to get one by him. That's ball 4. After all that, 12 pitches, Dickerson draws a leadoff walk. Now you get Bethancourt up, who hit a home run his last at bat. He's got success in limited at bats against Cueto. He's hurt the Giants this year when he's had a chance to play against him. Santos is ready to go now if the Giants need him. Pretty good cut by Bethancourt. Foul ball. You mentioned it. I think you worry about how much did that take out of Cueto, that long at bat. That one just kind of punched into right center field. Dickerson got a good read, so he'll take third. First and third, nobody out. Chance that's it for Cueto. Bochy and Righetti are talking about it. Here comes the manager. Bochy makes a call. Santos is coming into this game.
When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your oil change tune-up in small text. We'll be back. SFNBayArea.com. You can log on each week and check out Alex Pavlovich. It's also available on iTunes.
You've got it downloaded, right, for the long flight to Boston?
I do, and matter of fact, I've got a bunch of Alex's downloaded. It's going to put me right to sleep.
It's a long flight.
It wouldn't matter what's on. It's going to put me to sleep.
No kidding.
So it's not a reflection on Alex.
Don't take that personally, Alex. There'll be a lot of drool on the flight to Boston after this. Well, George Cantos comes in, 2 on, nobody out. Giants, who have not had a hit in the game offensively, trail 2-0 and trying to stay within striking distance. 33rd appearance for Cantos, second in this series. Pitched a scoreless inning on Friday. Schimpf shoots one foul. This guy's been a hot hitter. He's not made an out today. He walked and singled against Cueto. That slugging percentage, that's the one. When he's gotten hits, he's hit the ball very hard. Infield is in, not all the way. Foul tip, strike 2.
Just decided to take a peek at the scores on getaway day in Washington, D.C. It's 1-1 in the 16th
inning. Daniel Murphy, who is hurting, did not play, came up in the 9th and hit a pinch hit home run to tie it against the closer Melanson.
Wow.
And now nobody scored in there in the 16th inning. Oh, 2 outside. And the Diamondbacks are helping the Giants out. Got a 6-0 lead over the Dodgers through 7 in Arizona. Cantos would love a strikeout here. 1-2. Bounced past Belt. It's been that kind of day. Into right field. Bethencourt will go to third. It's 3-0 and the Padres are set up for more. Not hit hard, but it found a hole.
Well, when you're playing the infield in, stuff like this is going to happen. You know, Belt looked like he had a shot at it, but he just could not come up with it. And all people do is they change places. It's still first and third.
So here's Ramirez. Padres trying to really pad this lead now. They can start to think about a big inning. Same kind of defensive alignment for the Giants. Belt holding the runner. Schimpf at first. Middle infield in past double play depth. Pay attention to Schimpf. Padres are a really aggressive team on the bases. They steal a lot of bases. 76 steals on the year, just for some comparison. Giants have 48. And that is popped up. And I don't know if that's deep enough. We'll see. Pagan coming in, still coming in. Wow. He was trying to get his momentum behind it to set up for a throw, and he almost, maybe having some problems with the sun, talking about almost lost it.
Well, you're right. At the last second, he put on a little bit of a burst. But as the closer he got to the infield, the more he really didn't have to worry about getting a lot behind a throw, because Bethencourt was not going to go.
So now Jackson, and they're obviously not going to use a pinch hitter for him. He's got a no-hitter going. See if he bunts. He's showing bunt. I don't think it's a guarantee he actually does it. Pulls the bat back and swings away. Base hit to score a run. 4-0 Padres.
That's it. Bochy's on the top step. I mean, this is where you have to really be careful if you're Santos. All right. If he's going to bunt, you lay it in there and you let him bunt. But if you're not really sure if a guy's going to bunt, and you weren't, well, then you do have to make a quality pitch. Because right there, what Jackson did is he ambushed this pitch.
Yep.
Check out the location. I think we would all like to have that location if we're hitting.
What does John like to call those? That was a cookie.
And by the way, Edwin Jackson has a no-hitter, and he's also been on base 3 times.
He's got 2 hits. Giants as a team against him have no hits. So both of those runs score. Cantos inherits the 2, and they both come home. Those will go against the record of Cueto. And now Javier Lopez comes in the game to face Jankowski, the leadoff hitter. So another pitching change. 4-0 Padres. Back right after this. San Diego, 4-0 Padres, bottom of the 6th as the Giants make another pitching change. Mike Krukow is out on assignment. John will come back for the final 3 innings. We'll see Mike in Boston. Javier Lopez, a one-time Red Sox pitcher, comes on for the Giants. 40th appearance of the year. 39 games, 14 innings pitched, which does give you an idea of exactly how the Giants like to use him. And this is going to be another one of those outings. He's going to face this one-hitter, Jankowski, as the Giants desperately trying, and not very successfully thus far, but trying to stay within striking distance on a day where not much is going right. So Jankowski takes a called strike from Lopez. Also a chance to get Javier into a game he hasn't pitched since before the All-Star break. Derek Law getting ready behind him, and I think it's almost a certainty we'll see Law for the next hitter. Strike 2. Lopez would like to get a ground ball and see if maybe the next hitter comes in the next inning, get a double play. Jankowski, though, he's tough to double up. So Cueto goes 5 innings, gives up 4 runs. 1-2. Lopez, I mean, the Giants are going to Boston. David Ortiz will be in the lineup both nights. And we saw Lopez face Big Papi twice in San Francisco. He better be ready for him come Tuesday.
And he did a good job against.
He did.
Against Big Papi.
Maybe he walked him one time, but but made good pitches, and it was a spot where I think a base was open, and it was kind of the right way to do it.
They had a great battle.
From 0-2 to 2-2, Jankowski, foul ball. That's the thing about Javier is the way the Giants use him. They want him to face lefties, so he comes in to face the left-handed hitters who are not going to be removed for pinch hitters, which means the very best hitters in the other team's lineup. Two. On the ground to second. Pena will get the out at second. Crawford to first, not in time. That's just tough to do. Schimpf goes to third, 2 down, and Bochy will come out again.
And by the way, what you said about Lopez getting those big guys out, and he's made a living doing it, and he's made a living doing it in a Giants uniform.
I'm with you. I think he's still got a lot of value for this team, even though the numbers aren't pretty. Does his job here. Law comes in when we come back.
Will start at 3:30, and you can see it right here on CSN Bay Area.
There'll be a lot of interest in those games. Giants, Red Sox.
And since interleague play, it's only the second time.
We've been doing interleague play for a long time, since the 90s. And it's only the second trip the Giants have ever made to Fenway Park, which is more evidence that the whole interleague system has just been terrible. The whole point was to go to Fenway every few years.
I agree. Come on. Get with it.
Here's Will Myers, and that's all we'll say about that. 2 on, 2 out. Padres have scored twice here, knocked Cueto out of the game. Derek Law, who's really been pitching well, misses high.
Got another spot, I think, where we've only gone once. Cleveland twice.
Cleveland twice. We've been to Minnesota one time, right?
Once.
And we've never been to the new park, and we're not going next year, apparently. Next year, the Giants will match up against the Central, but the early version of the schedule has the Twins coming to San Francisco again, which they've done a lot. So even in the new system with the leagues having 15 teams each, we're supposed to regulate all of it. It's still not normal. Ball, strike one. Get rid of it, I say. Get rid of it. I don't want to be too negative.
All right, Mr. Commissioner.
Yeah, I would get rid of interleague play. it served its purpose.
I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence. Some parts I like about it, others I don't.
They do have to pay attention to Jankowski. He's one of the top base stealers on this Padres team, and he's been running wild in this series. Law did not pitch yesterday, pitched a clean inning on Friday. I think he's kind of moving up that bullpen ladder for the Giants, Derek Law.
As each day passes that he's in the big leagues, he seems to gain a little bit more confidence and get a lot more comfortable.
Good pitch there to Myers. Strike two, breaking ball.
I mean, the one thing about Law that you kind of forget about is if he wants to throw 95, 96, he can do it.
He's got it. Back safely. Padres fans get impatient. I understand that. You got these are the details you got to pay attention to, and I thought it was a big part. I thought last night of the 10th inning when Casilla didn't pay attention to Norris, the catcher who stole second, and it changed the whole way the Giants set up defensively in that inning. In the dirt with the breaking ball. Good take by Myers. Not a bad pitch. Force the infield in as opposed the infield was already in, but in even more aggressively, and then the ball bounced into the outfield and tied the game, and then the balk that won it. I mean, at the very least, maybe the Giants could have kept the game tied, lived to see the 11th. Anyway,
it's all a good point. Hold the guy on.
As a pitcher, you got to pay attention to him. 2-2. The foul. They're in the 17th in Washington, by the way. 17th inning, 1-1. Pirates and the Nats. Who's pitching in that game, I wonder? Everybody for the Pirates, including now John Neese.
Yeah, they're getting close to position players pitching.
Yusmeiro Petit only went 1 inning for the Nats. Fastball.
Lifted.
Must have been, right?
Because he would be the guy that would go a long time.
Scherzer, Treinen, Papelbon, Kelly, Petit, Belisle, Rivero, Oliver Perez. And I guess he's the guy still in the game. They're going to the bottom of the 17th. (3-2). Myers hits one. Quick pick by Crawford, and he throws out Will Myers. Excellent play. But the Padres get a couple. Crawford's going to hit. John will come back and join Kipe. It's 4-0 Padres.
by your local Toyota dealer. Edwin Jackson, put it simply, he's got a no-hitter. Cueto, 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. He was lifted for Cantos in the 6th inning. Giants do not have a hit. And that's your Toyota game summary. John Miller is back as Brandon Crawford stands in. Crawford has reached on an error and he's bounced out to second. And he takes low. 1 ball and no strikes. Sure, the Giants are obviously wanting to get a hit, but they also feel like they're 4 runs down. They've got 9 more outs. Let's try to make this thing as interesting as you can as we hit here in the 7th. And the only way you do that is if you get some base runners. And now it's 1 ball and 1 strike. No great plays in this game for the Padres, and the Giants really haven't had any hits, any balls that were hit hard. 1 and 2.
Looks like he changed up on him in that one.
Crawford trying to get on for Blanco, and then Blanco for Pena, and then down the line. Got him. Four strikeouts. A breaking ball. So here's Blanco. Blanco's walked and he's bounced out to second.
Well, this is a guy. It's sort of an amazing story what he's doing today, considering that it wasn't so long ago he might have been wondering if maybe his big league career was over. It's like trying to think about what to do next.
And he's throwing strikes right now as he opens up Blanco with a called strike and a breaking ball.
When the season began, he was in the bullpen for the Miami Marlins. He got into 8 games, and then they designated him for assignment at the end of May.
Out of play. Look out. Ranking section of Giants fans by our Giants vacation folks, and it's 0-2.
He spent some time on the disabled list with a strained right triceps while he was with Miami. And then they got rid of him. And you always know when somebody gets designated for assignment that they'll field trade offers and that sort of thing. Apparently they had no interest.
Slowly hit. Jackson kicks it around, and Blanco's aboard.
Well, I would think that would be an error.
I would think so too. They call that a hit. Padre fans are going to blow up this building. And it is an error. That's the right call. But a base runner for the Giants.
And they've had some. Let's take a look at it. He got over there, and he was in a hurry. And he missed it. And then where was it? By the time he found it, it was too late. Blanco still runs well.
Pena is 0 for 2. To the backstop. Bethencourt looks in his glove. It's empty. And Blanco down to second base.
He has a no-hitter, but it's a no-hitter in which he has walked 4. Here's a look at that one. I think that probably is a pass ball. What do you think? They do score it that way. Bethencourt missed it and didn't even seem to realize he missed it.
You saw the graphic on Jackson's no-hitter when he was with the Diamondbacks. He walked 8.
And threw what, 148
So that's
pitches.
the only way he knows how to throw a possible no-hitter.
Always had that problem with getting the ball over the plate consistently. He has not thrown that many pitches in this game, and the pitch count is not an issue right now. He was not on his way to 148 pitches in this game.
Connor Gillespie has grabbed a bat, so he is now in the on-deck circle. And a strike, so it's 3-1. I mean, if you're Pena, you can take a walk here, take it. Three and 2. In Washington, they are headed to the 18th.
That's got to be the first time they've gone 18 at Nationals Park since the Giants were there in the 2014 Division Series, Game 2.
That's right. I remember it well. I still haven't thawed out. 3 and 2. The walk.
Well, the Giants are still close enough. Derek Law did a nice job getting Will Myers to end the 6th inning when Myers had a chance to just break it wide open. It was bad enough it was already 4-0, but Myers had a chance to make it much worse as Hunter Strickland is up in the Giants bullpen now. In 2010, the no-hitter, 8 walks, 6 strikeouts. It was 149 pitches. He's had 85 pitches today in 6 of the 3rd innings. 5 walks, 4 strikeouts.
Here's Gillespie. 1 ball and no strikes. And it may be that Andy Green is going to have to start thinking about getting somebody up in the bullpen. Worry about obviously 2 things. First and foremost, to win the game, and then try to let your starter keep on going to see if he can get to the 9th inning with a no-hitter.
I think another thing, and we're just sort of conjecturing here, he was a relief pitcher all of last year and started this year as a relief pitcher with the Miami Marlins. And after he was released, the Padres signed him June the 20th. And he made 3 starts for El Paso. So, and he pitched only 12 2/3 innings in those 3 starts.
Well, Gillespie's got it to 2-0. And he's got it to 3-0.
It's been a long time since he's been this deep into a game at any level.
And I think we're starting to see some
Brad Hand, yeah. He's the 7th inning guy.
Bruce Bochy has sent out Jared Parker into the on-deck circle. Blanco's at second. He reached on an error. Pena's at first. He walked. Gillespie should be taking, and he gets the call. It's 3-1, and that was did not have to be a strike. You be the judge.
Yeah, Johnny Cueto might have a few words about that being a strike. He had a few that he thought were strikes.
High and deep to right. It is out of here. First hit, and the Giants are back in it.
That's a pretty good first hit when you're being no hit.
Belt high, and he knew it. Bethancourt's going to go out to give Hand a bit more time to get loose.
But that is a big fly in this ballpark. Way back over the new wall and over the wall that you used to have to hit it over. And well back beyond that into the walkway. So a great moment for Connor Gillespie. His 3rd home run of the year. His first pinch hit home run. And the first hit for the Giants makes this a 1-run game.
Yeah, that's it. We're going to look at it. It's going to go over the wall. Way over the wall. As Andy Green comes out to get Edwin Jackson. So when it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. Your oil change tune-up and smog experts. In 2013, the only no-hitter thrown here at Petco Park, and it was Tim Lincecum who threw 148 pitches and then got the Buster hug.
Which kind of shocked him. He said he was almost like in a trance out there. The catch was made in left field, and then he was thinking he was going to face the next hitter. Who's coming up next? What am I going to throw him? And all of a sudden there's Buster Posey from behind giving him a big hug. Caught him a little bit by surprise.
You could tell it did. So Williamson is hitting for Parker, and there's a pitch down low. So Parker was announced and comes in, and here's Mac Williamson. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. And Span is on deck, followed by Pagan, Belt, and Posey.
Williamson was used as a pinch hitter in last night's game and launched a home run.
Indeed he did. Bethancourt setting up away, and that's where it is. It's 3-0.
Hand worked in last night's game through 21 pitches. He also worked in Friday's game, so his 3rd day in a row to come in.
Well, Mac Williamson has the green light. And it didn't matter. You walked him. And here's Spain.
Giants came from 3 runs down last night to tie the game, send it to extra innings, and they finally went ahead in the 10th, only to end up losing it. Now they're trying to come back again today. Connor Gillespie, by the way, that was the first time he'd ever hit a pinch hit home run for the Giants, but the 4th time he's done it in his career in the big leagues.
Span takes low. Starling Marte has just hit a home run in that Nationals Pirates game, which is in the 18th. It's 2-1.
He played the Brandon Belt card there.
He played the role of Brandon Belt. Span takes a strike. So Span taking all the way, forcing Hand to throw a strike. And it's now 1 ball and 1 strike. So now Span can get back to work. Williamson, a big guy, but he runs pretty well. Giants trail by 1 after the home run by Gillespie. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Span chased a ball. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Span walked in the 1st. After that, he bounced out in the 3rd. He hit a fly ball in the 5th. 0 for 2. Two and 2. Pagan on deck. Jackson started out the inning by striking out Crawford. Seemed like that was a week ago. Two balls, 2 strikes. Full count. That's a pretty high velocity that just missed the inside part of the plate. It's now 3-2. Span's got a pretty good eye. A walk here would be just fine in the eyes of Bruce Bochy. Williamson, we'll keep an eye on him. He does not go. And he walked him. Good at bat.
Well, you know, I think it's very possible or probable that Brad Hand, who's had an excellent year, as Darren Balsley, the pitching coach, goes out to chat with him. But when you take a look at the Padres' record, even though they've played a lot better these last 6-7 weeks, they played a lot better. They're still just a little bit over 500 in that time. There may not have been much call for him to pitch in 3 straight days. This might be a little bit out of the ordinary for him, or a lot out of the ordinary. And he has not responded well to this one. This is not the same guy we saw last night and Friday night.
1 out. Williamson at second. Span at first. Pagan is 0 for 2 with a walk.
Pagan got a base hit against him last night in that game, albeit an infield hit.
And it's low. 1 ball and no strikes. Dodgers have made it a 6-5 game in the 9th inning.
Wow. Justin Turner is almost single-handedly engineering their comeback. He's knocked in 4 runs in the 8th and 9th innings.
See if Pagan gets a pitch he can hit here. It's 1-0. Foul back. He had a rip. 1 ball and 1 strike. And that's what you like to see a hitter swing like on a 1-0 pitch, if it's a good pitch to hit. Jackson started the inning, and he started it because he had a no-hitter. The 1-1 to Pagan. 2 balls and 1 strike. Hand's having a hard time with his control. He's walked 2 this inning. He's walked the 2 hitters that he's faced.
Jackson was his own worst enemy in this inning. He got Crawford, as you say, then his own error on a little slow top grounder by Blanco, got a base runner in there. Then he walked Pena, and they both ended up scoring.
3 balls and 1 strike. And now I think you're going to see Pagan look for a pitch like he did 1-0. Williamson at second, Span at first. And time call. Pagan stepped out. Hopped him out of play. It's 3-2.
Pagan's hit for a little higher average from the right side, 295. Came into the game hitting 285 as a lefty. But for switch hitters, that's a push. He's been pretty much just as successful from one side as the other. I think he's got more power, though, and always has shown a little bit more power. Batting right-handed.
Well, this is a huge pitch, 3-2. And he popped him up. It'll be Kemp. 2 outs. So a nice comeback for Hand after he fell behind 3-1. And Brandon Belt is looking for his first hit in the series.
Well, Hand, he walked 2 straight guys. Fell behind Pagan 3-1.
Yep.
Still, he's thrown 16 pitches in the inning, 11 out of the strike zone.
And his control hasn't been very good. And here's a guy that's probably got the best batting eye on the team in Brandon Belt. No balls and 1 strike. He started him off with a breaking ball. This has been an inning where all the rallies have been for free. Foul back. Belt had a good rip. It's 0-2. So Belt steps out, gathers his thoughts. He's seen 2 of Hand's pitches. He's seen the breaking ball and he's seen the fastball. Now you got to fight. One and 2.
The hit in this kind of spot has been elusive for the Giants all through this weekend.
Yes, it has.
3 hits in 21 at-bats with runners in scoring position. The 1 hit they've had in that situation today was the 3-run homer by Gillespie.
1-2 pitch. Here it is to Belt. Got him. That in the inning. Connor Gillespie with a pinch hit 3-run home run. It's bye-bye baby. Giants are now down by 1. Padres 4, Giants 3. The Giants are back in it. They trail 4-3. When it's time for a change, think Speedy. Oil change and auto service, your oil change tune-up and small experts. So Hunter Strickland comes into the game. See the numbers for Strickland. 11 walks in 33 plus innings, 30 strikeouts. And right now, the bullpen's got to keep it right where it's at for the Giants to come back and try to get a comeback win after trailing 4-0 in this game.
Now McDonald's true stories on this date in 1936 at Forbes Field, Pittsburgh. Carl Hubble, King Carl, Hall of Famer, beat the Pirates with a 5-hit shutout. It was the start of a 24-game winning streak for Hubble, and that is still the all-time Major League Baseball record. Hubble did not lose again until the end of May the next year, May 31st of 1937. His stats during the streak was 27 games. 22 were starts. He also would sometimes pitch in relief. He had 19 complete games during that winning streak. 2 shutouts and his earned run average 1.78. One of the all-time greats, Carl Hubble.
I'll bet he even threw batting practice in between starts and relief appearances.
They often did. They still were in the days of Juan Marichal and Gaylord Perry. Much more recent vintage. When the Giants came to San Francisco, Carl Hubble was still in the organization. He ran the farm department. Used to see him at Candlestick, and it was true. His left arm, because he threw a screwball, he threw so many of them that his arm was turned sort of, the hand was turned permanently to the left.
It was really screwy looking.
It really was. Gillespie stays in at third base after pinch hitting for Tejada.
This is Kemp that Strickland is facing. And he runs that one inside for a ball, 2-0. Kemp a solo home run in the 4th off of Cueto. And Kemp, who had count leverage, swings through that fastball. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. Yeah, it is a final. The Diamondbacks held on to beat the Dodgers 6-5. The Dodgers had runners at first and third with 1 out, down by 1 with Puig at the plate. As Kemp fouls it back. Puig struck out. And a player by the name of Chris Taylor then struck out as well, and that was the ball game.
Jake Barrett ended up getting the save. And they brought in the veteran Tyler Clippard to start the inning, and he got knocked around. Gave up 3 runs. And Barrett not only saved the game, he truly saved the game. There were men on base and all kinds of trouble when he came in.
2-2 to Kemp. And a full count.
Derek Law did a good job. He only faced the 1 hitter, but it was the hitter, the all-star, Will Myers, with 2 men on base in the 6th inning when the Padres could have just broken this game wide open. And Law got him to end that inning still 4-0.
Kemp pokes at that pitch to stay alive. So it remains 3-2. We're in the bottom of the 7th.
Padres bullpen is going. They used their 7th inning man, Brad Hand. It wasn't easy for him, but he got through it. And now their 8th inning left-hander, Buchter, is getting ready in the bullpen.
Out of play again. Strickland threw a nice pitch at 97. Cueto started. Gave way to Cantos, then Lopez, then Law, and now Strickland. Day off tomorrow. Bochy can use the entire bullpen. On the ground, foul.
Well, some Padre fans are not happy about it, but the guy with the best view of it is the guy who made the call, Dana DeMuth. It went right by the bag. If it had been fair, it would have hit the bag.
It would have hit the bag, yep. Well, it ended up in the hands of that young lady who brought her glove, and she deserves to get a ball.
So cool.
Three-two pitch. Another one to Kemp. Out of play. Strickland keeps throwing pitches into the strike zone, and Kemp keeps fouling them out of play.
Well, he's not the player that he once was, but Matt Kemp is still a guy with whom you have to be very careful. If you make a mistake, he's liable to launch one. He did back in the 4th inning for the first run of the game, and it was no cheapie out into deep left center, which has historically been a graveyard for home run hitters in this ballpark.
Pay off again. Got him. Kemp not happy. I've seen some guys get thrown out for doing that.
Well, he tossed the bat first off. There it is. Buster. And Kemp. The bat just kind of flew out of his hand as he began his tirade toward Gabe Morales.
Here's Solarte, who's 0 for 3. And he takes a strike.
And by the way, the Pitch FX on the MLB at bat app showed that that one was over the plate in the strike zone and in the lower range of the strike zone.
And a call strike, and it's 0-2.
It's great to see him throw that pitch for a strike. Because nobody swings at it. They're all up there looking for that fastball. And he has not thrown many of those for strikes lately.
Hook down the right field line and gone. Solarte with his 9th of the year. And it's now 5-3. Giants looking for a shutdown inning, and they didn't get it.
And that was an 0-2 count. The ball was right down the middle. Watch where Posey's glove is. It was up, and they wanted it up. And maybe they wanted it a little bit higher than that, because it was up at the top of the strike zone, but right down the middle.
So here's Dickerson.
But that's pretty good hitting. A ball that high at 96,
well,
what, 96 miles an hour?
There isn't any doubt that he was sitting on a fastball 0-2. And the next pitch is a called strike. Way outside, it's 2 balls and 1 strike.
It's only 322 feet to that foul pole down the right field line. There's a little home run porch down there, although that ball went well past the foul pole.
Span on the move, and Span makes the catch.
Span started one way and then had to kind of go the other.
He's as good at backpedaling as I've ever seen. A little bit of the karaoke.
The man has speed, even running backwards.
He does. Bethancourt is 2 for 3. And he looks at a strike. Breaking ball at 79, up and in. 1 ball and 1 strike. Pittsburgh ended up winning that game, I believe.
In the 18-inning game, 2-1 over Washington. And the guy that they took out of the rotation, banished him to the bullpen, Jonathan Neese, the former Met, got the win over Oliver Perez.
Two balls, 1 strike. Short. How about this? McCutchen 0 for 8. How is that possible? There's always a couple of disasters in games like that. Worth 1 for 7. Bethancourt fouls this one out of play. Espinosa 0 for 6. And then there's a couple of guys that are going to have maybe 3 or 4 hit days. Marte hit the home run. He had 3 hits. Two balls, 2 strikes. Giants trying to get to the 8th inning, down by 2. See if they can tie this game or take the lead against the Padres bullpen. Popped to shallow left field. It'll be Crawford with a beat on it, and that'll end the inning. So the home run by Solarte adds to the lead. It's now 5-3 San Diego.
Giants baseball on CSN Bay Area is brought to you by Toyota. the full-line automaker with the longest-lasting vehicles in America, Toyota. Let's go places. And by Xfinity. X1 from Xfinity will change the way you experience TV.
Padres with a 5-3 lead. When it's time for a change, think Speedy. Oil change and auto service. Your oil change tune-up and smog experts. It's Ryan Buchter. See the numbers for Buchter. He's done a really nice job for the Padres this year. Giants have seen him in this series a lot. And he'll be going after Buster Posey to lead things off. And here to tell you about the 8th is John Miller.
Well, Buchter also working for the 3rd straight game. He pitched the 8th inning in each of the first 2 games. Buster Posey takes a called strike. Buchter has allowed no runs, 1 hit in his 2 games pitched. Brandon Crawford is on deck. And the count is 0-2. Buster has flied out to center, popped up to second, and struck out. He's 0 for 3. Giants head to Boston after the game for a 2-game series with the Red Sox. They'll spend the week in the American League East. 2 at Fenway, 3 at Yankee Stadium next weekend. That was a pretty good rip by Buster. Fouled it straight back.
Buster likes the high fastball, and that's what he got.
Johnny Cueto did start the game. When he left, he was trailing 2-0, but a couple of men were on base that both scored after he had departed. That counted to his record, so he went 5+ innings, gave up 4. So Buchter, who's been around a long time, he's an overnight sensation in the big leagues after what, 8 or 9 years. High in the air to right center. Jankowski, plenty of room. And Buster is 0 for 4. Here comes Brandon Crawford, and he's 0 for 3, although he's reached on an error by the second baseman Schimpf. The Giants down 5-3, and one of the problems for the Giants is just the fact they've had 1 hit in 9 at-bats as a team with runners in scoring position. But how many hits are you going to get in a game where you have 1 hit total, period, in all situations? The only hit of the day for the Giants was the 3-run pinch hit homer by Connor Gillespie in the 7th inning. The only hit Edwin Jackson, the starter, allowed. That propelled the Giants back into the game, but Padres got one of those runs back on the home run by Solarte in the 7th. And it's 0-1 to Brandon Crawford. Crawford's been very aggressive up there today, but has swung at a lot of pitches that have been out of the strike zone. One ball, 1 strike. Buchter is a guy, he's not throwing 97 miles an hour, but sometimes you would think he would, the way guys react to that fastball, especially when they swing and miss. Hides the ball well. Got a little bit of a different kind of a delivery. That's 1-2. And his numbers are just up there with any reliever in the league. 40 innings before today, only 24 hits allowed, 56 strikeouts in 40 innings. Batting average against him has been only 176. He's a slump maker. And that's all for Crawford.
You follow the Giants baseball live with MLB.com at bat. Stay up to the moment at any moment with game day, live game video highlights, statcast, and more. You can download MLB.com at bat. It is the #1 app for live baseball.
Gregor Blanco now. Blanco's not had a hit, but he's been on base twice with a walk And he reached on Jackson's error in the 7th inning. He's also grounded out. 5-3, the Padres lead. The Padres trying to sweep the Giants here. Of course, the Giants swept the Padres 3 different times earlier this year, April and May. They were 9-0 against the Padres. That is caught very nicely by Dickerson and fouled round. 3 up, 3 down. 5-3, San Diego. Bay Area today. The reaction from the Giants clubhouse after this game. Also the insider Alex Pavlovich from San Diego with his report, and then the latest from around Major League Baseball, including the Dodgers' loss at Arizona. Were those gamer bays?
I'm not sure if they were. I think they were Padre fans, and it looked like a party for someone who's about to get married.
Thank God she has us gamer babes from the Bay.
There you go. Yep. When it's time for a change, think Speedy. Oil change and auto service. Your oil change tune-up and small experts.
Josh Osich in for the bullpen. Ryan Schimpf leads off against him. A 97-mile-an-hour heater for a strike.
So the girls from the Bay.
One and one the count. That's a much slower breaking ball. When he got to the big leagues, he'd throw that 97-mile-an-hour fastball, and he'd throw a 91-mile-an-hour cutter. An 82-mile-an-hour breaking ball. That's a foul tip. Back to 97. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Giants bullpen is quiet. So often, Osich has come in to face a left-handed hitter in the last several weeks, but he's going to be asked to go deeper here today, and they don't still really look at him that way. They think that he's a guy who can come in and face all comers for an inning.
Well, yeah, you're right. They think that he can do what Jeremy Affeldt did.
And with his stuff, he can get everybody out.
There's none better than Jeremy Affeldt facing righties or lefties, because he could strike people out and he could get a ground ball.
Affeldt, there were years where Affeldt was even better against right-handed hitters than lefties. But you needed a double play ball. Affeldt was the guy. Two and two. Affeldt had years where He would be among the top 3 or 4 pitchers in the entire league for inducing double play balls. And I don't mean relief pitchers, all pitchers. There'd be most starters would not get the number of double play balls that he would get. And that is the strikeout. 98 miles an hour. First time that Schimpf has been retired in this game. 1 away.
If you could trust Osich with his control, he would have the type of stuff that could be a closer. But you cannot have a closer where you're worried that he's going to walk people.
He has walked 12 and hit 2 in 26 and a third previous innings before today. That's too many. That's nearly 5 guys an inning or per 9 innings that he's put on for free. Alexi Ramirez, and it's 0-1. But we've seen him in the past be able to come in and give you the inning, whether they were lefties or righties coming up. Part of the dynamic has changed with the Giants bullpen because Bochy has had a hard time finding guys who can get people out. There have been too many leadoff walks or guys who come in to get their guy and they don't get him, where he starts mixing and matching. Many of those innings where he ends up bringing in 3 or 4 guys in the 1 inning, his intention was just for the 1 guy to pitch the inning.
Yeah, he doesn't really want to do it that way, but he feels like he's been forced to do it that way.
You got a lead late in the game. You're trying to protect that lead, get it to the closer, and all of a sudden the guys in the 7th and 8th they were struggling. 2-2. But this is nice. Osich coming in here throwing strikes. We're in the last half of the 8th inning. Brandon Maurer, who's the Padres closer now, is warming up in the bullpen, getting ready for the 9th inning. The Giants will be at the last third of their batting order for the 9th. 3-2.
I think the conversation that Affeldt had with Osich probably a couple of weeks ago, if I recall, was simply, you really do have to trust your stuff because your stuff is terrific.
Shallow right field. Blanco, no. And this is going to be a problem. He went for the catch, and the single turns into a triple.
Well, you have to make a decision. Am I going to go for it, or am I going to hold this hitter to a single? And Blanco went for the catch, and when it gets by you, Ramirez, who runs pretty good, is going to end up at third. So now you put your pitcher into a 100% strikeout situation.
Derek Norris, Padres regular catcher, is up as the pinch hitter for Buchter. He didn't make a dive on that ball. He went into a slide. Infield in all the way around. That's ball 1.
The Padres play tomorrow. They travel to St. Louis. And they're involved in a 4-game series against the Cardinals.
Cardinals lost 2 out of 3 this weekend to Miami. That's a strike at the knees.
So that means they lost today. Wainwright pitched really well and won yesterday.
Walker was the starter today, but they were in a tie game late innings and the bullpen gave it up. 6-3 Miami. And Miami right now is 2 games ahead of them in the wild card division for the 2nd wild card spot. One and 2. Blew that one right by him.
Yeah, that's 98 to a guy that's looking for a fastball.
St. Louis has not done well at home. They kind of remind you of Arizona with the problems at home. They're 20 and 28 at Busch Stadium, which is shocking. Still 1-2, runner at third. Giants already trailing 5-3, knowing that they cannot afford another run to score. They're at long odds to start with here. But a pop-up turned into a triple. Ramirez at third. Going for the strikeout. He got it. I don't know if that had some cut to it, or he took a little something off at 94.
Yeah, that's why he's got closer stuff. If he needs a strikeout, he's got it. It's in there. But he just does not have a lot of experience. But every day that he's here, he's got a chance to figure it all out.
2 down, leadoff man Jankowski, the infield back to normal depth. That one almost got away from Buster. That's how quick that one was.
Yeah, Buster caught that in the webbing of his glove.
Which makes you think it had a little cutting action as well.
Yep.
At 96 miles an hour. Runner at third, 2 down. And he fouled that one off Buster's glove. 1 ball, 1 strike. Third baseman Connor Gillespie plays shallow in deference to the speed and ability to lay down a bunt by Jankowski.
It's not such a bad idea if a guy that runs extremely well, if all the infielders play a little shallow. He's in your trying very hard to take away the infield hit.
Two and one. Well, he's one of those guys, explosive speed. If he hits the ball on the ground, he's got a chance to get a hit. You see Gillespie in the background there, playing shallow in on the grass. Jankowski tried to lay down a bunt earlier, bunted it twice. And the umpires, at least one of them, spotted it. 2-2. Which I had to give him a lot of credit for that.
Yep.
The plate umpire didn't spot it. But the umpires all gathered. And Dana DeMuth is the one who made the signal. But they sent him back to the plate saying, no, that's a foul ball. You hit it twice. And he stays alive with a foul out of play. 98-mile-an-hour fastball from Osich. 5-3. The Padres lead the Giants. The Giants, who have 1 hit all day long, they've had 1 hit. And they'll be sending Ramiro Pena, Connor Gillespie, and then a pinch hitter, likely Jarrett Parker, the only lefty still on the bench, in the 9th. He struck him out looking. There's that 92-mile-an-hour cutter. Jankowski did not like the call. He strikes out 3 in the inning and strands Ramirez at third. Last chance coming up. Brandon Maurer is on to pitch, the Padres closer, and Maurer comes in for the third day in a row. And the Giants need 2 to stay alive in this one. Dwayne Kuiper, I'm expecting a couple of out-of-here's in this inning, if you don't mind.
A little magic. Here's Pena. Norris, by the way, comes in to do the catching. And a strike to Pena. Gillespie. To follow. Pena waves at a pitch that was not a strike. It's 0-2. Giants need a base runner to get the tying run to the plate. It's 5-3 San Diego.
Looked like a changeup there from Maurer, 85 miles an hour.
So both teams will depart from the San Diego airport. Giants will head to Boston, and the Padres to St. Louis. Giants will play 5 games this week, 2 in Boston, 3 in New York, and they'll have 2 days off. Very unusual. Outside 3-2. Pena will take a walk, and if he can do that, a little doubt creeps in. Here's the payoff. A little bloop and a base hit. And the Giants will take it. Why wouldn't they? It's their second hit. Here's the first hit.
Connor Gillespie came up as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning with 2 men on. The Giants were being no hit when he launched that one well back into the stands. And suddenly a 4-0 deficit became 4-3, and the Giants were no longer in the conversation about being no hit. Man, the bat, that bat, maybe that was Pena's favorite. That bat just was destroyed.
Destroyed. Here's Gillespie hitting for the second time. And he fouls it at the plate. Green is on deck. And following Green, then you get to the top of the order. So if you can get some people on, eventually you're going to get to the Pagans, the Belts, and the Posies. Cued. Tough play. Nice play. And they got him. If that ball gets by Maurer, I do believe Gillespie is going to have a hit.
And I agree with you. And also, not only did he get to it well, but he did not panic and rush the play. He set himself and made the good throw. Sometimes guys will, in their haste, spin around, forgetting that they don't have a real fast runner going, and hurry that throw off balance. But he seemed to be well in his head with the whole situation. Set himself and then made the stride toward first, put it right there.
Well, here's Green. And the first pitch is wide. 1 ball and no strikes. Pena's at second.
Now you might be saying, why is Bruce Bochy setting up a right-handed hitter? And the only thing I can figure is right-handed hitters are hitting .277 against Maurer. Lefties 193.
And that's high down the right field line, towards the line, and foul. Remember, the short porch is right down the line. So it's a ball and a strike. 1-2.
That was nasty. 90 miles an hour. By the way, let me correct myself here. Jarrett Parker, I forgot to scratch his name out of my list. Before they took Jackson out of the game, Parker was brought in as the pinch hitter, and then they brought in the left-hander to face him, Brad Hand. And Williamson ended up pinch hitting for Parker. That's why they have no lefties remaining on the bench.
Yeah, Brown's remaining. 2-2 to Green. Into right field, and Kemp is right there. 2 outs.
A little bit of bad luck right there for Green. That's pretty good at bat against a tough pitcher, and he hit the ball real hard.
You know, it goes back to the home run that Solarte hit that made it a 2-run lead. It changes the whole 9th inning when Pena leads off with a base hit. Span is 0 for 2 with 2 walks. His job is to get on base or hit one out of the park. And it's 0-1. On the ground, this could do it. Ramirez to Myers, and that's the ball game. So the Giants open up the second half of the season, and here in San Diego they get swept as the Padres in all 3 games really outplayed the Giants.
And the Giants ended up with only 2 hits in this game, so the Giants are going to Boston and then New York, and they're going to have to get well in those 2 very difficult places to get well.
So the final score here at Petco Park: Padres 5, Giants 3. Stay tuned.